for all school districts, tomorrow is a big day, right?
It is the day that
region.
we wait all year for our budgets, yes.
Yeah. And, the people have the right to be able to cast their vote on budgets, and that becomes always a stressful time, especially if you have to raise taxes or if you have to, anything that's somewhat controversial. There's some meetings that you have been heated. There is a movement, I guess, going in down there at CVA where you're looking at a new strategy to target scores that you say are low for these kids.
Correct. Looking at a whole bunch of different options, and we have the people that can do it, but the first thing we've got to get over is our data, no matter what we look at, whether it's national, state, local, alumni, is not good across the board.
So it's bad enough where you feel drastic change is needed?
Well, I mean, you look at just our kids that go on to college at Herkimer, 47% of them need remedial math. And then we dig further back. Well, in high school, we have so many kids that take courses over again. About a third of our students end up taking a repeat course. A third of our students are failing at the junior high school and the senior high school. A third of them are failing a course right now. So out of about 1,400 students, we have 400 plus that are failing a course right now. Some of them multiple courses, 5, 6, 7 courses. And this has been going on for a while. So instead of giving the students the help they need and the resources they need when they are falling behind, it's, well, let them repeat, let them fail. We can do things a little bit differently. And then if we look back to our elementary schools, only half of our kids are reading on grade level at K-8. And as you go from kindergarten on up, that number gets lower. So on average, 50%, maybe at kindergarten it's closer to 70.
Right.
But then by the time we get to 8th grade, it's 35, 40%. And that's trickling into the high school where they can't get the credits. They go off to college, have to take remedial courses, and they're not taking the challenging courses they need to really do well after school.
We talked about numbers the other day that you're ranked the Business First, I think it was.
Business First.
Now, that is a publication. Business leaders look at that. Investors look at that.
They do.
Community leaders look at that. And it shows that the Alien Mohawk Merged District, Central Valley, 35th out of 36 schools in the region. That's not good for business.
It isn't.
And how do you fix that?
Well, if we focus on the students and what's best for the students, a lot of this right now is sometimes it comes across as personal attacks. People get heated when we're fearful of change because we're afraid things are going to get worse. If you look at our rankings, look at our numbers, it really can't get worse. The only thing we can do is move forward. So Business First has been doing their rankings in Western New York for the longest time. Yeah. In the last few years, they've done all of upstate. So when we look at all of upstate, I've said before, 35 out of 36 schools. When we look at all of upstate, we're 397 out of 431. So the schools we were close to even in our own county pull away in that upstate ranking. And there's another ranking that's making its round, Smart Asset. It's a national kind of piece. They look at crime rates, they look at schooling, they look at tax ratio. And New York State, we know, has higher taxes than most other places.
Yeah.
So we take that out, but when you look at our counties, Herkimer County is 57 out of 62 counties in the state for bang for your buck. And then when you look at our county, they do a decile ranking. So schools are ranked either 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. When they rank the Herkimer County schools show up as a 1, the lowest you can be. While out of all those schools, when you look at state scores, local scores, region score, whatever you're looking at, we are the underperforming district. We're 25% of the entire area. And this isn't the beat on anybody. This is the realization that if we realize we have something we can do, then let's do some things differently. Otherwise, it's the same thing over and over again.
Manaski.
Have you had a chance to examine what the cause of this is, why those scores and rankings are so low?
As you dig into reading and math levels, our kids are just not coming out of elementary school at the reading and math levels. Now, that's not to say that there's a lot of other challenges going on. I mean, we are looking and working with one of our local health insurance health providers to hopefully bring school-based health clinics to our schools as part of the capital project so that our students don't have to worry about getting to the doctor. Many of our kids in our area don't have the transportation to get to the doctor. Even when I moved into Ilion, it was tough to find a pediatrician that was taking new patients. So that's part of it. Mental health is a major aspect. There's a lot of other factors, but we only can control the things we can control. So making sure kids are doing reading and math on grade level is the one thing we can control, whether it's getting them extra help, whatever the case may be. That's the one thing we can control. We can help with the others, but making sure they can do reading and math at grade level is important.
I want to ask a couple tough questions.
Please.
Because I spoke with some board members over the weekend and some teachers, and from the board, I have to say this is what I got back, is that they can see both sides of the story. So obviously, in this case, you have a problem, I think, where the teachers seem to be resisting the change. Some teachers seem to be resisting change. And so the board people that I was able to speak with said, yeah, listen, I can see both sides. And I think that this superintendent is a numbers guy and just tells it like it is, doesn't candy coat things. And sometimes I guess that how do you respond to that? I mean,
I can't disagree with you on that one.
Okay.
I was a science teacher. I was a scientist, with biology, chemistry major, those kind of things. So it's really about the numbers. That's something I got to improve on, the relationship side of things. But when I look at the numbers and I look at what's going on, I look at every individual kid. And there's 2,300 of them that are currently in our school system. There's more coming on the way. Our alumni are even telling us. More than half our alumni saying they weren't prepared for life after school. In a survey they did before I came on board.
We're going to talk about that survey coming up because I do have
you have some of the results
numbers.
of that?
I have some of the results of that, and it's shocking. But I want to finish with what the board members that I spoke with said. They went on to say, but I think we support this superintendent, and I think he's getting a bad rap based on the fact that maybe some of those communications don't go well. But that you have the kids and the board. The one thing that you guys all have in common is that you have these kids in mind, and that's your only focus, and that everybody really should work together. And these two members that I spoke with are hopeful that will happen. The community will come together, and everybody will work together here.
Well, if I didn't think we could do it, I would have moved my kids into the community. My kids go to school as well. I have two at Behringer and one at Fisher. We've got another one that's going to be making her way into the school system as well. We can do this. We can be the best school district in the area. It's just we've got to get over the not believing any numbers, not believing what the facts say. When you go to a doctor, the doctors would just look at you and go, you think you got a virus. They take your blood pressure. They take your temperature. They do blood tests, which is all numbers. So what we're trying to do is we're basically doing what a doc does, look at the numbers and go, okay, where can we fix and where can we put our resources to fix what's going on and get this patient doing well, and the patient really is our kids.
I want to. We'll come back in a second, and I want to go over some of these numbers. As I said, they're drastic. They're really the math. There's a math number there where almost all of the students at a certain grade level are performing below state mandate, below state standards.
8th grade.
Terrible. I mean, the number is really scary.
It is.
More than anything else.
Very true.
So we'll talk about it coming up in a second. And also comparison. Everybody likes to compare to New Hartford. Well, that's where all the doctors' kids are and the lawyers' kids. But when you compare Central Valley to Mount Markham or to Richfield Springs, you can't use that argument anymore. And the results, to me, based on if I'm interpreting this properly, they're scary results. So we'll get into that coming up. I have some birthdays, and Christine's going to pronounce the first one for me. It's Colleen Kennianen.
That sounds good. I
can't even get to it, but Kannianen. What an awesome name. Colleen, we're going to give you the cake, by the way, from Clinton, is celebrating today. Also, Linda Glover in Utica, Kaylin Ergen in Marcy, Alice Ellis, Liz Strebel in Camden, Kim Tobias in Utica, Ted Cox in Utica, and Mark Salerno in Marcy celebrating all today here on May 16th. A cake goes to Colleen K. from Clinton, who gets the cake from the Florentine Pastry Shop on Bleecker Street. Get a birthday on by going to our news site at WIBX950.com or send it a postcard, WIBX Birthdays, 9418 River Road, Marcy, 13403. We'll go over those numbers coming right back at WIBX.